On the 200th day of the lockdown today, the people in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir continue to be deprived of their fundamental freedoms. Their right to liberty, health, education and food, as well as face continued restrictions on their freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. Voices across the world increasingly call upon India to respect the fundamental freedoms and human rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The chairperson of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Kashmir in the British Parliament, Ms. Debbie Abrahams, MP, in her press remarks yesterday in this very room, had stated that we are pro-human rights. It is our obligation, according to the UN Convention, to speak up against another state experiencing human rights violations, unquote. The Vice Chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Kashmir in the British Parliament, Mr. Imran Hussain, MP, had stated without any ambiguity that the Jammu and Kashmir dispute cannot be a bilateral issue, and that human rights were always an international issue. Indian forces are using special powers like the Public Safety Act, which is both draconian and illegal under international law, unquote. This week is also a painful reminder for all of us of the tragedy of Samjhota Express train that occurred 13 years ago. The families and the loved ones of the 68 victims of this tragedy still await justice. 40 of these are Pakistanis. The inordinate delay in justice for these victims, despite the availability of evidence, illustrates the unwillingness of the Indian government to hold the perpetrators to account for their barbaric actions. Last year, the acquittal of the self-confessed mastermind of the Samjhota Express train tragedy, Swami Asimanand, and others accused only reconfirm once again the culture of impunity that the perpetrators of terrorist attacks enjoy under the RSS BJP-led political dispensation in India. Pakistan would like to remind the Government of India of its responsibility to take serious and credible steps to bring the perpetrators of the Samjhota Express blasts to justice at the earliest and without further delay. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are also aware, the UN Secretary General concluded a successful 3-day visit to Pakistan. The Secretary General of the United Nations delivered a keynote address at the International Conference on 40 years of hosting Afghan refugees in Pakistan, a new partnership for solidarity. He held leadership-level meetings and also met parliamentarians of both the houses. The Secretary General interacted with students, children, media representatives, interfaith community leaders, and also met Afghan refugees. He gave talks on key themes, sustainable development, climate change, and peacekeeping among them. On the issue of Jammu and Kashmir, Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed his deep concern at the increase in tensions last year and stressed that the solution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute lay in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations and the resolutions of the UN Security Council. He also stated that it is of utmost importance to ensure full respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms in the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The unequivocal statement by the UN Secretary General serves to put to rest any confusion in any quarter pertaining to the international status of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute and the need to resolve it in accordance with the Security Council resolutions and the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. The Secretary General, during his visit to Pakistan, also appreciated Pakistan's role in the Afghanistan peace process and acknowledged Pakistan's contribution to UN efforts towards promotion and maintenance of international peace and security. He recognized the extraordinary generosity and solidarity that the people of Pakistan had shown for over 4 decades to host millions of Afghan refugees. In his words, he stated, "One can only imagine how much worse the plight of Afghans would be and how much more unstable the region might be without Pakistan's stellar example of hospitality and compassion." While visiting the Kartarpur corridor, the Secretary General called it a welcome symbol of interfaith harmony and a unique experiment in cross-border ties showing Pakistan's commitment to peace. The key takeaways from the recent visit of the UN Secretary General and earlier the visit of the Turkish President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, show a growing acknowledgement by the international community of Pakistan's contribution towards global peace and security, whether through its peacekeeping troops across the globe in various UN peacekeeping missions, or through hosting of millions of Afghan refugees, or Pakistan's consistent stance for peaceful resolution of Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with Security Council resolutions, or through building the Kartarpur corridor that offers a space for the Sikh community from all over the world to practice their religion in a spirit of harmony and peaceful coexistence. Pakistan today is being recognized as a partner for peace. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Pakistan Kabaddi team for winning the World Championship, and also would like to extend our congratulations to our tennis star Esamul Haq and his doubles partner Dominic Inglot for winning the doubles title at the New York Open on 16th February. Thank you. I will now take some questions. Ji. Is there a supplementary to this? Ji, Naveed sir. I think on several occasions, Pakistan's position on the Afghan peace process has been articulated from this platform. Pakistan is keen to see the peace process move forward and lead towards intra-Afghan dialogue. We have also noted the announcement made by the Independent Election Commission of Afghanistan. We are monitoring the developments and we will respond at an appropriate time. Regarding the third question, I think that is a speculative angle given to the Afghan peace process, and I would not like to comment on that. Ji Zulkarnain. I think you all may be aware the Consulate of Pakistan in Jeddah put out a press statement on this. And the consulate has been in touch with all the relevant authorities in Saudi Arabia on this issue. Every year before the month of Ramadan, Saudi authorities routinely carry out exercise against illegal expatriates and illegal workers, especially in the Makkah region. The assumption that this is a Pakistan-specific drive is completely incorrect. The campaign is not Pakistan-specific, and the Saudi authorities have arrested nationals of several other countries as part of this drive. The Consulate of Pakistan in Jeddah remains in regular contact with the Saudi authorities on this matter and is also taking all possible measures within local rules and regulations to protect the interests of Pakistani community. I also want to underline this, that the propagation of baseless news through social media has created unnecessary anxiety and unrest in the Pakistani community in Saudi Arabia. Certain social media sections have also sought to give it a misleading political angle. I would like to stress here again that it is in the interest of the deep-rooted Pakistan-Saudi brotherly relations that such baseless reporting and irresponsible twists are avoided at all costs. Our fraternal ties with Saudi Arabia are of strategic importance and remain strong and dynamic. Thank you. Ji, thank you. You have already referred to the statement made by the Foreign Office a few days, weeks ago, on the peace plan, articulated by the US government. The Senate represents the members who represent the people of Pakistan. We are respectful of all the resolutions that emerge from both houses of parliament on this issue, and they reflect the sentiments. Thank you. I will take, yes, Anas. On your first question, we have heard the news of the deaths of a few Pakistanis in Syria, and our mission in Damascus is seized of the matter, and we have asked them to ascertain the factual position. Regarding participation, at any potential date and for the signing of the peace agreement, I will let you know once we have confirmation. I'll take another question.
The Gujarat ship that was captured in Gujarat that had visas and was due for Karachi.
I will revert to you on this with some detail. Ji, I will take. I am actually amazed at this question. I will find out about this and let you know. Ji, Ijaz Saab, piche. Thank you. I think I will be repeating myself, and I have done so on numerous occasions, about Pakistan's position, Pakistan's contribution towards restoration of peace and inter-Afghan dialogue. There is no other country in the world that seeks to see peace and stability return to Afghanistan more than Pakistan. So regarding the peace agreement that we hope would be signed sooner rather than later, and that would take into account all the interests of all stakeholders, this is a discussion that has taken place on a number of occasions with all the interlocutors and stakeholders, and we hope that all these interests will be kept in mind when the agreement is finalized and signed. Thank you. I'll take. जी, अगर इसके बारे में सप्लीमेंट्री है तो आप पीछे से दे दें. कोरोना वायरस के हवाले से आई थिंक पहले भी बात हुई है और इस फोरम से भी बात हुई है और सेपरेटली भी हुई है. As you are also aware, a special task force comprising 2 officers of our mission in Beijing have been deployed to Wuhan city for the purpose of evaluating the situation, the welfare, safety of all students in Wuhan, our students. They have visited 7 universities so far and individually met every student in each of those 7 universities. They have met administration of each university. They have met local authorities, local Chinese authorities in Wuhan. These members of this task force will remain deployed in Wuhan. They are not returning to Beijing until the quarantine is lifted. And their mandate is to make sure that all needs of our students are addressed, given to them, provided to them, their safety, well-being, and health to be constantly monitored and ensured in close consultation with university administration and Chinese authorities. Thank you. I will take 2 last questions, please, up. Mateen Sahab, I have not forgotten you. in multiple forums. You mentioned about the letter written by US senators to Secretary of State, drawing his attention towards the atrocities in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and human rights violations. As I said in my opening remarks, there are voices growing across the world calling upon India to provide fundamental freedoms to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, to lift the draconian laws that are implemented, like public safety acts, in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The letters sent by the US senators is yet another voice in that growing international call on the government of India to abide by international law, the UN Convention on Human Rights, and to ensure that the just resolution of this dispute and freedom from this tyranny is given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So we welcome it. We hope that during the visit of the US President to India, the issues faced by the people of Jammu and Kashmir would be discussed with the Indian leadership, and the offer of mediation expressed by the US President is taken forward through some concrete practical step. Thank you very much. Last question, the lady. Last question, सवाल सही तरह समझी नहीं, आप जरा दोबारा इसको कहिए।
Al-Qaeda ने
I think this is yet again one of those stories that are put in publications and media that have no basis, so I will not like to comment on it. Thank you so much.